Within most space marines, there is an organ, the Omophagea. It lets them eat the brains of their enemies to learn their plans. And so it begs the question, what are the limits of this ability? Can they eat traitor marines or cultists without effect, without corruption? Can they get the same information by consuming part of a genestealer or a higher tyrannid? And exactly what information does eating the minds give you? Friends, let's find out. And welcome to another 40k video. First we turn to Oath of Damnation by Robbie McNiven, where exorcists eat the brains of chaos cultists for a tactical advantage. What can you see? Lector Sergeant Aiton asked, as the reavers of Squad Belloc gathered around him. They had momentarily removed their helms or skull masks, and their lower jaws were smeared with blood and brain matter. They had made use of the Omophagea organs, consuming the enemy's flesh to ransack their memories. Little, Belloc admitted. The forces of the heretics have been on our assault. Terror, panic, anger, confusion. Not enough in the way of actionable memories. No clear sign of any tunnels. There are suggestions the word-bearers were here not long before us, but we cannot pin their presence with what the cultists are aware of. So here the exorcists suffer no ill effects, though they are notably resistant to the taint of chaos, and the information seems clear to them in their minds in terms of what they could pull from it. What can we learn to add to this from the Carcharodon's novel Red Tithe? Scouts lead a band of prisoners who are armed along with their chief librarian to activate a Night Lord's trap. Rannick is a guard who is there to keep an eye on the prisoners, and the librarian is T. Kahurangi. That's what I'm going to go with. The scout is called 1-9. Who are they? T demanded. The scout switched his infralens for a handheld stab lumen, lighting up his bloody work. Cultists, he said. The ones with the black hands, set to guard the tunnel, I assume. Do not assume, find out. Chief Librarian, you've been implanted with your Omophagea, have you not? T demanded. Yes, Chief Librarian. Then make use of it. Perhaps it will help quell your dishonourable bloodlust as well. 1-9 knelt beside the two bodies and dragged the gas good away from the throat of the nearest. Rannick switched the stab lumen back on. It lit up the back of one of the two scouts. He was crouching over the bodies he'd taken down in the dark, head bowed. Rannick heard a wet, tearing sound. She took a step towards the hunched space marine. Go no closer, T ordered from behind her, but Rannick found herself unable to look away. The scent of blood filled her nostrils. A part of her was aware of what she was witnessing, but she still didn't believe it. Then the scout turned to look up at her, and her last hope vanished. The initiate's pale face was a crimson mask, glistening with blood. He'd literally torn the throat from one of the men who had been guarding the tunnel. The heretic's blood still pulsed weakly from the ruined cartilage and bare bones that had been his neck. The scout exposed his pointed teeth, the filed gaps clogged with strings of gore, his black eyes gleaming with the stablight. We are following the right tunnel, the blood-drenched scout said, rising and wiping the blood viscera from his face. The ascent towards the precinct fortress begins here, and he trailed off, as though thinking, and they nodded. These are the only guards, just cultists. How can you know that? Rannick stammered. She was going to be sick. These things were no better than the monsters they claimed to fight. Our abilities are far beyond your understanding, Rannick, the low voice of T said. By consuming an enemy's flesh, we gain insight into their thoughts and memories. It's an important skill to master. That confirms for me at a low level that a cultist does not affect a space marine with his chaos taint when he's eaten, and that at least from tainted human minds, very useful tactical information can be found. He literally just gets what's in their head and nothing extra. To grow this in the novel From the Eye of Terror, we see a Dark Angel eat the brains of a traitor Dark Angel, one of the fallen, and learns what happened with Luther betraying the lion after the heresy. And he says, having now experienced for himself the seduction of chaos, Magron knew that only spiritual infection of that kind could have produced such astonishing disloyalty. He lived as though the memories were his own. The bombardment by loyal angels, and the subsequent battle, which had reduced Caliban to no more than a bare rock. Whilst I couldn't see how corrupt this fallen was, I think this shows eating the brains of even a chaos-corrupted space marine doesn't have an effect on you. You just get their tainted experience of an event. So what about eating part of a genestealer? We get some of that in Death of Integrity by Guy Haley. Genthis of the Blood Drinkers carries this action out. He eats it, not for knowledge, but to fight back. It goes like this. Genethys fended off the genestealer's claws, turning them aside with his strong hands. Let not mine be stilled easily. Let it flow on and outward. Let it flow from me, as I slay those who free it. He worked his cheeks and spat acidic venom from his Betcher's gland, spraying it into the genestealer's face. The thing screeched as its eyes dissolved, and Genethys reached for it. He opened his mouth wide, dragging the creature to him, and bit deep, his extended canines sinking into its alien neck. He ignored the burn of his own acid venom on his skin. Black blood poured down his throat. Xenos blood, unclean, impure, satisfying. He gulped as it filled his mouth. It tasted vile, bitter and cold. Still he drank. Flashes of alien thoughts played across his mind as it filled his mouth and washed over his remembrancer. Endless, waiting, the chill of deep space, and a single purpose so consuming, there was space for nothing else. Behind it a vast and horrifying shape moved, distant and yet imminent. Genethys dragged his head back, his heart chilled by the vision. Dark blood ran down his face. His skin bubbled, acid burns joining the blisters he had received from the hot metal. He blinked, the genestealer's memories of inconceivable patience warring with his own urgent need for war. So yes, eating a tyrannid gives you their memories. This skill is a mutation in the organ for the blood angels. There, the Omophagea allows them to drink blood to get the same effect as eating brains. So in these encounters, even with their biology as alien as a genestealer, a Marine can gain knowledge and insight into the mind of the creature. For this final part, we have another example of an alien mind being gorged upon. A Tau, from the book Courage and Honour. Even after armour administered emetics and purgatives, he could still feel nebulous alien emotions and thoughts scratching in his mind. The rank oily taste and rubbery texture of the Tau's brains was repulsive, but he held the information they needed to safely negotiate the drone sentry towers scattered around Praxedes. Lurchus had been able to access this information thanks to a highly specialised organ. After he is told, when he returns to Ultramar, the apothecaries will swap your blood out and cleanse it of any taint. You'll be yourself soon enough, don't worry. I will not be tainted, said Lurchus angrily. I will not stand for it. Look what happened to Pausanias, stripped of rank and disbarred from the company for 100 days. Pausanias kept his affliction from his superior officer, said Isam. That is why he was punished. Listen to me. You need to be calm, brother. Calm? How can I be calm? Cried Lurchus. You are not the one who ate an alien brain. At first you had thought the Tau brain too alien, too removed from humanity to allow him to absorb anything of value. But within moments of swallowing his first bite of the moist, chewy meat, Lurchus had felt the first stirrings of the alien's thoughts. Not memories as such, but impressions and inherited understanding, as though he had always known the abhorrent things that crowded his mind. So with the Tau it works, but there seems to be an issue with the memories staying after. So it seems, and they do seem to have encountered this phenomenon before, whether it's just something within the Ultramarines or something within the Tau, it's not really clear to me. So let me know what you think to this lore, and if you like this video on 40k, why not try this one? And if you want to just sit and listen to tons of 40k lore, why not check out the playlist on the channel.